Hello everybody, welcome to my third EV Ramblings update show. Today we're going to talk about the Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid, one of the most recent videos I did. We're also going to talk about the Hyundai Ioniq EV, Volvo, and a few other updates, and I'm going to respond to some viewers' comments and questions. So first off, I'd like to say that we've hit over 700 subscribers, woo, which is awesome. I am going to lose my monetization though. I have until the 20th, so that's 2 days from now to hit 1,000 subscribers. And although I've seen a huge uptake in subscriptions, I'm not going to hit it within that zone. But still, continue to subscribe to my channel. Suggest other people subscribe as well. Once I hit 1,000, it should all come back. And I'd just like to give a shout out to Rob McDonald. He was the number 700 subscribers. So shouts out to you. Thanks for subscribing. Now, another update, the Vancouver Auto Show is happening from March 8th to April 1st at Canada Place. I have been invited to donate some time as part of the eMotive program in BC. That's kind of a government-funded program to just kind of help ambassadors out and just show people the electric world. And so I'm probably going to be there on the Friday or the Saturday, or possibly both days. I might either be with the cars themselves helping do test drives, or I might actually be in the booth. I will keep you updated with the time slot that I'm put in. But if you're in the Vancouver area around that time, come out and check out the show. It should be really good. And some news, and this is something interesting one. Volvo has just announced that by 2019, so that's next year, their entire fleet will be electrified in some way. I'm not sure how that's going to look, like whether that's just like hybrids or if it's plug-in hybrids. We might even see some full EVs possibly, but they're going to be the first auto manufacturer, like the established ones, to do something like that. So congratulations on them. And this is going to feed into, there's a person in one of my update videos, a user Turd Burglar he said, Volvo XC90 T8 plug-in hybrid next. And so I reached out to my local Volvo dealership, and unfortunately they can't get the XC60s. They're by order only, but they do have an XC90 on the lot. That's a demo. It's a plug-in hybrid, and they've offered me to take it for a spin. So I'm going to take them up on that. I just have to find a day to do it. But it's very different from the Outlander plug-in hybrid in that the front wheels are driven by an 8-speed automatic transmission, full gasoline setup, and the rear wheels are then the electric, powered by like a 10 kilowatt hour battery. And it's suggested that it gets about the same electrical range as the Outlander, so we'll see how it compares. I'm going to take it on the exact same trip, and we'll compare the numbers. But the Volvo one, I think, is quite a much higher end luxury vehicle, so it's going to be hard to compare, but we'll see where that goes. And I guess my next topic is going to be about the Hyundai Ioniq EV. And I did a review, or a driving reaction to the Ioniq EV, and I quite liked it. It was a hard decision whether I'd choose that over the Leaf, but I suggested that I think that they probably benefited from the Kia line of business. Hyundai and Kia are very similar companies. I think they have similar ownership, and Kia has a sole EV. But there was an article recently on Electric. It's a website that covers EV articles, and it was a user that owns Ioniq EV, and they're having all kinds of issues in really cold temperatures. And so their car's been at the dealership multiple times for repairs for very long times. And I guess there's lots of forum users that are having similar experiences as well. And it's made me question whether the Hyundai Ioniq EV is actually a good car or not. Like if it's kind of a piece of garbage, or maybe it's one of those lemons that we haven't seen in the market really that much. But so I've been doing like a little bit of research, thinking about it, and this kind of got into, I'm going to switch into the viewers' comments and questions, and we're going to go to this one. It's by Facts Count 2015. So you'll see this quote on the screen here, but this is he brings up multiple points of why you shouldn't buy an Outlander plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. And it looks like this person owns a 2015 Outlander, which would be one of the first plug-in hybrids of that line to come out. And buying anything first generation could be a little bit risky. But I'm going to the 4 points that I pulled out of this was, number one, it was outclassed against competitors, the Outlander plug-in hybrid, which I don't entirely think is true. I don't think that it actually has any competitors in that price bracket for the fact that it's an SUV that's plug-in hybrid, at least not in North America. Another point is that there's an imagined threat of climate change. He thinks people that bought the plug-in hybrid Outlander just because they think that climate change is real or not. And I'm not here to argue if that's the case, but I'm going to say there's a lot of other reasons to buy some kind of electrified transportation. Like, I prefer the way that electric vehicles drive. I prefer the less noise. I like the instant torque and the predictability of it. I also like the low cost of ownership. So, I'm not entirely sure that's a point. Another point of his was unable to sell. Now, this is a real thing in the market, especially because a lot of countries and states and provinces are offering huge rebates when you buy a new electrified vehicle. For example, in Ontario and Canada, if you go to buy some kind of electric vehicle, you can get $10,000 right off the sticker price. So a car that sells for $40,000 on the lot, you're only paying $30,000. And if you wanted to turn around and sell that a couple weeks later, you couldn't sell it for more than $30,000. Why? Someone might as well just go buy new. If anything, you'd have to take quite a significant cut out of it. So this is an issue. Like, you either have to discount it severely, but what also pushes people out of buying used electrified vehicles is that every year there's huge improvements. And so the benefits usually, or for people, are like, okay, well, I'll just spend the extra money and get the brand new one and get the maximum benefits out of it. So yes, selling these vehicles is difficult, and that is a valid point. But the final point that I want to bring up is owner support. And he's basically saying Mitsubishi has offered no owner support. And I imagine, since this is a first generation vehicle, similar to like my 2011 Volt, he may be experiencing a lot of issues. And of course, I'm not experiencing that with my Volt, but that's a first year of any type of vehicle. That is an extreme possibility. And this is going to feed into my Hyundai Ioniq EV. In dealership support, I think, is the key here. I don't think manufacturer support. I think manufacturers generally do support the vehicles, or they want to. But because the manufacturers are kind of hobbled by their dealership network, there's so many unknowns with that. Like, you might be able to get a dealership that's actually experienced a lot with these vehicles, or you might get one that's never worked on it before. So there's going to be a lot of techs that don't know what to do. There's going to be a lot of parts that aren't available. And this is something that we're going to have to work through. And I think this is what's affecting the Hyundai Ioniq as well, is that you just have a dealership network that, unfortunately, you just haven't really hit very often, like with terms of repairing these type of cars, and you're going to get probably a worse experience. So this is something that the manufacturers are going to have to figure out, same with the dealerships. And I think as we see more electrified vehicles, you're going to see better support, but that is one kind of issue. But, thanks for commenting. Fax Count 2015, it's a good discussion to have. But I think that the Outlander plug-in hybrid is still a really good value, and I would suggest checking it out. So also I want to give a quick shout out to new subscribers. I don't get a list of everybody who's subscribed, but these are some people who have recently. I have John Eng, Chris Cooper, Ross Drummond, Nyrite, Leo76 Dragon 22, Andrew Pearson, 09 Quarks, Eris F, Boreal Ventures Canada, that sounds cool, Ron Cohen, Toshiharu TF, Rob McDonald, Rhea Lovedove, and Ray A. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, so going through some more comments and questions, we have one from Renee Garrettson. So essentially they wrote, for me, the electric range would be great for my daily commute. This is in response to my Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid video. However, I wonder what daily charging does to the battery. I know my phone battery doesn't like daily charging several years in a row. So this is something that I've gotten this question many times. Just in terms of how often you should charge, or just and this is just relating to battery life. Now, electric vehicles, they have a bank of batteries, so it's not just one battery, it's several battery modules. And the system is kind of intelligent enough to figure out where to charge or where to pull energy from to try to maximize the life of that battery. And there's no doubting that battery in your vehicle, the battery pack, will lose capacity over time, but I don't think it's going to be anything like your phone. And certainly from my experience, my Chevrolet Volt is 7 years old, my Nissan Leaf is 6 years old, and the Leaf for sure has experienced about 15% battery loss, but that's still quite minimal, and the car's still very usable. And as both are approaching kind of the 7 or 8 year product lifespan here, I expect to get many more years out of it. Like, I would think that the Volt's probably going to be going well into 12, 13, 14, maybe even 15 years. And I don't see why that'd be any different in this car. If you did have a larger battery pack though, like if you had a car with a larger battery pack and you're charging every night, the car could intelligently charge theoretically more cells and like spread it out. But I don't think that's an issue. I wouldn't worry about it. I plug my Volt in every night, and I would say go for it. Now, John Eng, is the next comment we're going to talk about. He wrote, "Thanks for the great video. You mentioned about opening up the hood and having a look at the engine. Disappointed that you didn't do that at the end of the video. And yes, I am sorry. When I was recording that video, I realized that I didn't look under the hood. When I got to the dealership, I had to finish off a bunch of other videos, and then there were some people who really wanted to take it for a test drive. I was able to get the hood open though and take some photos with my camera, so they're up right now while I'm talking here, and they'll give you a glimpse of what it looks like under the hood. It looks kind of like a regular car, you know, like you have on the driver's side though, you have the electric motor components, and on the passenger side you have the gas combustion bits, and everything fits in there quite nicely. So I hope that helps. And also, I did write a full review of the vehicle on my blog, so there's a link in the comments to it. It's directly to that article. At the bottom of that blog, I have all the photos that I took, essentially, and so you could kind of go through there and look through those different photos. So that's basically it. Now, I do have a question though for you, and this is kind of my viewer poll, and this is related to plug-in hybrid electric vehicles, like whether you want to see more or less of them. The Outlander plug-in hybrid video that I did recently has gotten a lot of hits, like way more than I thought it would actually. And I was kind of holding back on plug-in hybrids, but after driving the Outlander, it kind of changed my opinion of what I think of them. I had a lower opinion of them until I drove the Outlander. So I would like to compare that. Obviously, I'm going to be doing the Volvo XC90. I'm also trying to get into Honda Clarity, and I was fighting a while ago to drive the Audi A3 e-tron. I kind of gave up, but I might give that a try as well. But there's also other options though, like if you don't want to see plug-in hybrids, I could try to get into an older Fiat 500e or maybe one of the Toyota RAV4Es. So anyways, let me know what you want to see. If you want to see more like BEV, battery electric vehicles, or plug-in hybrids, that would be greatly appreciated. So that about sums it up. Keep subscribing if you're not subscribed. Help me out. Help me reach that 1,000. Maybe I'll come up with a prize or something for the person that hits 1,000. Maybe I'll give away my Chevrolet Volt model. It's a very rare thing now. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a good one.